Welcome back to Well House Midweek Minis. This is your ghost of a host with the most, Shanna.
So is that the name? That's
Yep.
the name we're... Okay. I like it.
Thanks to Jackie.
Okay.
Who's this?
Oh, it's Puckwell PJ.
Nice to meet you.
That's my name.
Tonight will be episode 3 in our midweek mini episodes called Well House Midweek Minis, thanks to Nurse Jackie.
And we're talking about pigs in dresses.
And I am sticking with this name. Would you stop with the... I have a script. I am... Look at me. Look
You
at me.
spoiled that much.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now. Before we begin, I have a joke for you, Puckwa PJ. Why did the police officer ticket the ghost on Halloween?
Why?
It didn't have a haunting license. Yeah, how does it feel?
I like it.
What?
It doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. Haunting.
Oh, haunting. Gotcha.
Wow.
I like it now.
I thought you had a joke for me tonight.
Yes.
Is it appropriate?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Because tonight we watched Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. And so I realized that we just paid for the season. You know, we're not going to pay for a History Channel subscription.
Yeah.
Because, quite frankly, the guy with the hair who says aliens, like, I don't want any of that. What I do want is the guy with the hair who says aliens.
That's your joke?
That's it. Wow. Look at that.
He can't help it. It's his accent. What the crap was that? All right. So what are we discussing tonight? Well,
Pigs.
we're going back.
Dresses.
We are going back over to the Pittsburgh area for a super creepy and interesting story. This is something I think Laura suggested to us a while back, but now I'm going to tell it. It is the Pig Lady of Cannelton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
My references for this evening are spookybeavercounty.com, The Times Online, Supernatural Lore of Pennsylvania, Ghosts, Monsters, and Miracles, edited by Thomas White. That's it. It's a mini episode.
I thought Spooky Piggy County would be a little more appropriate, but...
This is only one person, one thing that's scary in this area. Come on. Anyway. All right, the story.
Where are my ghost beaver stories for Beaver County?
Maybe you should make some.
Okay.
All right, there you go. That's your job.
That's it. I'm going to find...
No, you're going to get ChatGPT out because you're lazy.
ChatGPT, what do you got for me? I need some ghost rodent stories.
There's an infamous legend and also ghost story in Cannelton, a small community in Darlington Township. It is of a hoggish nature, if you will, and it is the story of the Pig Lady. This is one of the more mysterious and macabre tales of the western Pennsylvania region. The tragic tale of Barbara Davidson has all the trappings of a well-crafted murder mystery novel, except this whodunit will forever remain unsolved and cemented into Beaver County folklore.
Okay.
It's a pretty good opening, isn't it?
That's pretty good.
I know, thank you. What we know about Barbara is that she was a daughter of Samuel and Cora McCaskey and was married briefly, as was noted by Thomas White, an archivist at Duquesne University and author of Haunted Roads of Western Pennsylvania. As mentioned in my references, I'm using another one of his novels for tonight's episode. So in Supernatural Lore of Pennsylvania, edited by Thomas White, Barbara was born in South Carolina in 1777. So she predates America proper.
All
right. So what else is known? That's pretty much it. No, I'm kidding. No, there's more. There's more. Her father was a rice planter, but was driven off his property when the British invaded. Well, after the Revolutionary War, a young Davidson returned to live on the family farm in the depreciation lands of Beaver County. These were tracts of land on the frontier that were offered cheaply to veterans of the Revolution. The new American government attempted to compensate veterans for the almost worthless continental money with which they'd been paid. This tract of land happened to be near the Little Beaver River. The area, officially settled in 1795, would be called Cannelton, named after the cannel coal found there and later mined. Cannel coal is a coal that burns the brightest, so is very important for Beaver County and, of course, for local profiting. So fun side note, right?
Yeah.
But as mentioned before, this is the story of Barbara. She was a fun, sociable girl, and she had a beautiful voice, apparently. This is something she was well known for in the community. Even though she sang wonderfully, she was something of a tomboy, helping her family with the chores and tending to the pigs and other livestock in the family farm, and she was also a good shot with the rifle. Oh yeah, watch out.
Good for when you have to take out a pig.
That's right. Or a beaver? I don't know. In 1791, when she was only 15 years old, she married a young man whose name was Nathan Davidson. Like Barbara's father, he was a soldier in the American Revolution. He was a farmer in Virginia, so she went to live there. Not much is known about their marriage, but what is known is he disappeared quite suddenly for reasons? That's all we know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, reasons? Some folks say he died.
I thought like a conspiracy was coming.
Well, some say that he died in a tragic accident and Barbara was forced back onto her family's farm. Others say that he was abusive and she took care of him. We don't know, because it was the 1700s. Regardless, she was back home on the family farm in 1794. So barely 3 years later, she's back home. Mm-hmm. That's all that is really known in terms of verifiable facts that have been recovered. But from there, a strange and bloody occurrence would take place. Bum, bum, bum.
This sounds spooky.
Well, it is. In the summer of 1795, Barbara's father and mother left on a trip to Pittsburgh to purchase supplies for their farm. Barbara stayed behind and tended to the farming duties required. After a few days had passed, Barbara's parents returned from their trip, but when they arrived on the dirt road that was in front of the farmhouse, no one was there to greet them.
Where are they?
Where are they? Her. Where's Barbara? Just one person.
Oh, I thought she stayed home when they left. I apologize.
She stayed home. They left. When they came back, no one was there to greet them, i.e. Barbara wasn't there. This was strange and eerie, as people would always come to greet them, especially Barbara. Everything also seemed silent and strange. The only sounds they could hear were the animals that were kept in the barn. There seemed to be no sign of their daughter anywhere. When they got off the wagon, they began calling her name. She did not answer. They went inside the house. She was not there. To quote Thomas White, "They were gone for a few days. They came back, and they couldn't find Barbara anywhere. They searched and searched, and they alerted the neighbors who were all concerned, and they looked around, and they couldn't find her."
She still holds the world record for best hide-and-seek player.
To this day. Well, parts of her, anyway.
Some say they're still out there looking for her.
Parts of her.
Oh, boy.
Gotta be specific here. After a few more hours had passed and a careful examination around the farm turned up nothing, her parents grew heavy with worry. Where was Barbara? A search party by her parents and neighbors for the next few days still turned up nothing. There was no sign of her anywhere. However, as more days passed in the sweltering summer July heat, a foul smell became aggressively noticeable from underneath the floorboards near the front of the house. Her parents were drawn to an outside crawl space and discovered a horrific scene. To quote Thomas White again, "They found Barbara's body shoved under the house, missing its head." The head of Barbara was never found. An investigation by authorities at the time, which would have meant just local townspeople, obviously there's no such thing as forensics back then, it's the 1700s, could not identify who her killer was. Who would have thought? She was buried in the local cemetery without her head. Her tombstone, made of wood and now long gone, had the following inscription: Barbara Davidson, born April 11th, 1777, died July 22nd, 1795. A headless form 'neath this mold doth lie, murdered most foul, loved by all, ... save one.
It's a long inscription, first off.
Secondly, how about how close those dates are to our children's birthdays? April 11th, July 22nd. I was like, okay, it's fine. This is fine.
What's with Pittsburgh and our children's birthdays?
Well, why not? However,
Who's the red meanie?
it's the red meanie's bopping around. Oh, I need a bat. Penny, I need a bat. However,
She needs a bat, Penny.
Just want to read that. I'm going to invite someone else over for these.
Can you see the bat?
It's a surprise tool that will help me later. It goes boink on your head and you go, shh. However, her headless spirit is rumored to haunt the area where her family's farm used to be, along Cannelton Road and beyond, looking for her head and seeking vengeance on her killer. There have been dozens of witnesses over the past 200 years to the Pig Lady of Cannelton. Cray cray.
It's a long time.
Oh, yeah. That's all you got? You got no jokes tonight. I love it.
I mean, it's a pig lady.
Not yet. She will be.
Wait, but she tended pigs. How does she become a pig lady?
You have to wait. She's without a head
It's
right
her
now.
beautiful singing voice, isn't it? I'm just here tending the pigs. This is my beautiful voice. My parents are proud of it.
And the community.
And the community loves it. Every Christmas.
Every Christmas what?
They cheer at the end of the song. They're just so happy.
To have you sit back down.
Yep.
Do you want to sing?
One song is enough. That's all they need.
Do you want to sing again?
Oh,
right now?
no. My voice. I swear if I sing one more time, my head will just come right off.
I thought you had to rest your voice, but okay. All right, going back to Thomas White. He said, numerous people supposedly have seen this ghost. It forms kind of out of a white mist without a head, and it takes on the shape of a woman and will walk around. Notice it's headless.
Well, I mean...
Added to this, she moves like a woman, stroking her hair on a head that isn't there, and some people have heard the ghost sobbing, even if she is even if she's visible or not. Good.
I mean, did she find the head then? If you hear sobbing,
No, she did not find her head yet. That's
where's
why
the sobbing coming
the
from?
sobbing is distant.
From her heart.
Oh, there you go. That was still with her body. It was just the head that was missing. Over the next 200 years and beyond, various accounts of Barbara's ghost have surfaced. One night in the early 1800s, a man going on a dirt road in his wagon was greeted by an apparition of what appeared to be the figure of a young lady missing her head. Startled by the ghostly figure, the horses shook so violently they threw him off of the wagon and ran from this figure, leaving the unknown man stranded for the rest of the night.
With her, like, just standing there.
Bye!
Have you seen my head? Hi!
How are you even talking? You have a mouth. It's amazing.
It's a distant voice.
All right. Here's a really cool story, though. It could be, it can be like a mob mentality, like mass hysteria, or it could be legit. In 1935, a local company called Negley Traction Company created a nighttime tour called Barbara Davidson's Midnight Excursion to make some extra money. The trolley headed out to the graveyard and passed some locations where the ghost had been allegedly seen. Well, after being parked for several hours, her headless apparition began to form out of the mist and moved across the property near the Fennel House. It came close enough to the trolley to convince the people on board that it must be real, and they could even hear the sobbing in the distance. The ghost was visible for a full 15 minutes before it went away.
What did it do during that time? That's what I want to know.
It walked up and...
Just like stared at the thing, like, did it start doing the can or anything?
No, it was just in a white dress, walking around. Looking for its head and crying.
Maybe she thought she was like singing to a crowd, but no one could hear.
Aww. Notice that's 1935, so we're almost 200 years later, about 150 years after she's been killed. So there's still no pig, all right? That is going to pop up soon. There are also stories of her head as a spectral figure, the missing head.
Oh, we found it! Hey!
One of the most common stories is it comes out of the old mines in the hillside above Cannelton, possibly being born out of the local theories that her head was probably tossed down into one of the mines to hide the
Mine
evidence.
shaft, yeah.
Yeah. One such story was recorded by a man named Ira Mansfield in the book Recollections of Life Along the Little Beaver Creek. One night, a man was driving a wagon load of apples down the hill. As he passed the mine shaft, a glowing shape streaked toward his wagon. He realized that the light actually had hair, so it must be a head. Then the head...
You just hear...
Well, apparently...
What was that?
Apparently the story, it like supersedes the horse's head, so it's like up in front of his wagon, and it turns and looks at him from where the horse is actually at. So the head is like on the horse of the head.
Oh no.
The head of the horse. Yeah.
So the horse is wearing a human hat.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty like horrifying though, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
messed
messed
up. Yeah. So the head then turned towards him. Right?
Hey, knock knock.
And he saw that it had red, burning eyes. Obviously, he bolted out of there as soon as possible and as quickly as possible. But that was one of many stories of this head just kind of this floating, like, spectral head bouncing around. They'll also see it like an orb out in the woods. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But the most interesting thing, I think, is this guy who's a school teacher and local historian. I feel like he's me. All right, so I see my future, and it is in Rich Oswald. He works at, or did, I'm not sure if he's still there, at Black Hawk School District as a school teacher and local historian. He researched Davidson's stories extensively, interviewing those who had allegedly seen the ghost. By the 1950s, people had started seeing a pig's head in the place of Davidson's missing head. And so, when I go back to Thomas White, he says, it may have been just a joke or an actual ghost sighting, but that's how she got the name Pig Lady. So a theory is that she chose a replacement head from the animals that she had worked so long with and felt comfortable taking the head of, ?
No, I don't know. I don't believe that.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. I'm just moving on here.
Wait, what year was this?
That was 1950s.
Okay.
So I'm starting to like Animal Farm and stuff. Like all that stuff's kind of starting to come out soon. So, but anyway. As the sightings grew more famous, another particular tale of interest came from a group of boys playing near a bridge in the area where they claimed that a ghostly female figure with the head of a pig began to chase them down the road. Regardless of this, they never played at that bridge ever again. They never even walked on it. And then during the 1950s, it was claimed by folks residing in the area that a female apparition wearing a head from a pig was seen walking along the cemetery in which she then entered, and also along some local country roads on certain nights.
And she started saying, Kirby.
Look, she's a singer. She's a singer. Kirby. Oh, boy. Another story adds to the legend and is supposed to be the apparition naming her murderer.
Look at moi.
And she's going to mention French. This is
Hey!
perfect. So
it's Miss Piggy. They're just seeing a Muppet. That's all.
I am so sorry, Barbara Davidson, for this episode. Anyway.
We'll buy a Harley Davidson to make up for it.
Oh, okay.
Is that how that works?
No,
Oh.
not at all. She wants her head, PJ. Another story adds to the legend and is supposed to be the apparition naming her murderer. The story goes like this. Long ago. Are you done?
No.
At least you're honest.
How's the story go?
On a warm summer's evening.
On a warm summer's evening. Kermie.
I'm just going to go for it. I'm done. Long ago, on a warm summer's evening, a man was said to be camping somewhere in the woods near Cannelton.
What's his name? Is it Kermit?
You have to wait.
Dang it.
One night, he claimed something terrifying occurred that prevented him from talking about it for many years. While relaxing near his campfire, he saw something emerge from the fire itself. When it took its final form, it was that of a headless woman who began to speak to him. It only said one sentence, "Tell them Renault." For some time afterward, the mysterious man was unable to remember what the ghost lady had said to him. He was so frozen with fear for the rest of that night that he could not even move. When morning finally arrived, he packed up his things and left. When thinking about her sentence later, he thought maybe the apparition was saying Renault, a French name. After some time had passed, he related the gruesome tale to a stranger who wrote it down. After some lengthy research, Rich Oswald found that there was an Indian, like half Indian, half French fur trapper in the Beaver County area who went by the name of Renault. According to locals, he possessed a bad reputation and was a friend to no one. Could it be that he was Barbara's killer and she was trying to communicate from beyond the grave to tell the folks who her killer might be? It is not known who the man was, so no name, who was camping that night, or who he told his story to. So it could just be Bupkis.
Yes.
As for the mysterious fur trapper named Renault, that is true. He did exist, and he had a very negative reputation in the area. So if it's true, we'll never know. But according to the supernatural lore of Pennsylvania, Ghosts, Monsters, and Miracles, quote, though many who live in the area are reticent to talk about their personal experiences with the ghost, the Pig Lady has been the subject of a local play, and she was even the inspiration for a local Halloween attraction. Now, Rich Oswald, the school director of Black Hawk School District, is the person who has put on the play every other year at the middle school to tell the story of Barbara Davidson. The play has gone through several changes as new material has been uncovered, but it has remained a local tradition. So Barbara will always live on in the area through those plays. And that's the story of the Pig Lady of Cannelton.
The Muppet.
Sure, yeah, the Muppet, yeah.
Is she a pig lady? Or is she a Muppet?
Am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet?
You're welcome.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a pretty cool story, and I'm tempted to believe a lot of it until it turns into her with a pig head.
Exactly.
Then I'm just like, no, everyone's lying after this point.
Well, I think if we were to take the time and look and see what books are out, what TV shows are out, what radio plays are out at the time, there may be a connection that way. And depending on the article that I was reading or the book that I was reading, you know, the pig head shows up after the boys, really. So again, it could have just been a joke, as White had
one
mentioned.
kid cuts off, like has a pig's head because his dad's a butcher or something. And
when did Lord of the Flies come out? What year was that?
But yeah, like some kid, like swings a pig's head around on a rope or something. He's like, "Ooh, look, I'm the pig lady." And then all of a sudden,
that's what I do for fun. Look, I'm the pig lady. 1954 is when it came out.
Yeah. So.
Yep. And of course, you have a pig's head being put on a stick. Yeah. So, I think if we look close enough, we'll see that there probably was something happening in the world, or locally that would make kids make that joke. Who knows? I hope they're not putting pigs' heads on sticks, because that's disgusting.
I think it's just more messing around in the woods.
Hopefully not with pigs' heads.
One kid wants to play a joke on the other. Again, his dad's a butcher or something like that,
That kid is a sociopath and needs to go to therapy.
Probably. But
okay. Something we can agree on. But I actually believe the first half of it, the idea of this like mist, because that's the constant story is there's a mist, and from that mist it grows the rest of the body except for the head. And the fact that there's the arms and hands are like stroking hair that's not actually there because it's like looking for its head almost. I find that to be very fascinating.
Now, do you think it's a residual haunt or intelligent?
Based on the fact that it came up to a trolley full of people and
True.
cried for 15 minutes, I'm going to say it's not residual.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
So,
that's still got to be awkward. Like, do we like do we leave? Do we just keep staring?
We got to go now. Bye, Barbara. And I know a new song, Barbara Manatee. I don't think she likes that song. Let's go.
Do you think she can hear it?
She's a ghost. So I mean, it's interesting. That's why it's on the mini-sode. It is not a regular one. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Wellhouse Exorcism. Find us on Instagram as Wellhouse Exorcism, all one word. Find us on Twitter/X or on Facebook under Games Overboard. Again, we are a subsidiary of Games Overboard. Feel free to hop on to our website as well, which is gamesoverboard.com. And please feel free to email us or DM us. We want to hear from you.
And, as always, think spooky thoughts.